Why do older portraits of US presidents seem so perfect, almost like they belong in a museum, while modern presidents often look stressed, aged, and, let's be honest, a little too real? What changed? Stick around because we're peeling back the layers on how we see our leaders and what it says about our society. Presidential imagery has come a long way, from grand oil paintings to high-definition photos and viral memes. But this evolution isn't just about technology. It reflects a deeper shift in how we perceive power, leadership, and authenticity. Let's explore how the image of the presidency has transformed over time and why it matters. Once upon a time, presidents were depicted as untouchable, almost mythological figures. Today, they're subject to the kind of scrutiny and exposure that would make Washington's powdered wig curl. But how did we get here? Is this a natural evolution, or are we demanding too much from our leaders in this hyper-connected, image-obsessed world? 1. The portraits of power, a time of grandeur. In the 18th and 19th centuries, presidential portraits weren't just art, they were propaganda. George Washington's iconic Lansdowne portrait, for instance, wasn't meant to capture the real Washington. It was designed to project an ideal. These images featured deliberate choices: the pose, the outfit, the objects around them. Every element was meticulously planned to symbolize strength, wisdom, and authority. Washington holding a sword, a nod to his military leadership. The books on the table, a representation of knowledge and governance. The public rarely saw these leaders outside of such polished depictions. Presidents were distant, godlike figures, revered but not relatable. 2. The introduction of photography, a shift towards reality. When photography emerged in the mid-19th century, it revolutionized how leaders were portrayed. Abraham Lincoln was one of the first presidents to harness this new medium, and his 1860 portrait by Matthew Brady marked a turning point. Lincoln's photo didn't idealize him, it humanized him. The lines on his face and the weight of the nation's troubles were visible, and yet this honesty resonated with people. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, presidents like Theodore Roosevelt embraced photography as a tool to connect with the public. While photos were still staged, they offered a glimpse of the leader as a person, not just a symbol. As the years passed, photography began capturing not just the public image of presidents, but their private moments. Images of presidents with their families, shaking hands with common folk, or even caught off guard in candid photos started to paint a fuller picture of leadership. This shift helped bring the presidency closer to the people. 3. The television era. Presidents come to life. Fast forward to the 1950s, and television brought presidents into living rooms across America. Suddenly, leaders like John F. Kennedy weren't just seen in newspapers or at public events. They were on TV screens, speaking directly to the nation. Kennedy, often called the first television president, set a new standard. His youthful energy and charisma played well on camera, and his televised debates with Richard Nixon in 1960 demonstrated the power of visuals in politics. The debate not only changed the dynamics of the 1960 presidential race, but also cemented the idea that a leader's visual presence and communication style mattered just as much as their policies. But television also raised the stakes. Every gesture, expression, and slip-up was magnified. Presidents could no longer hide behind carefully staged portraits or controlled media appearances. The rise of televised speeches, press conferences, and debates meant that presidents were becoming more humanized, sometimes to their benefit, but often to their detriment. This televised presence forced presidents to adapt to a new kind of visibility. The public began seeing more of their personalities, and with that came greater scrutiny, as every speech, expression, and moment of discomfort could be captured and broadcasted worldwide. 4. The internet and social media, unfiltered and relentless. Then came the internet, and with it, a new era of visibility and vulnerability. Social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook turned presidents into constant content. Barack Obama's presidency marked the beginning of the social media age for US leaders. His selfies and casual tweets made him more relatable, but they also blurred the line between personal and professional. Obama's social media presence humanized him, giving the public a behind-the-scenes look at his life and thoughts in real time. His campaigns made heavy use of viral marketing, focusing on short, easily shareable content that resonated with younger audiences. His campaign's use of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube transformed how politicians interacted with their supporters. Donald Trump took this to another level, using Twitter as his primary communication tool. While his unfiltered approach resonated with many, it also exposed him to relentless criticism. Trump's tweets were frequently a source of controversy, with the president often taking to social media to air grievances or make policy announcements, sometimes with little to no vetting. Today, every moment is documented, from press conferences to candid snapshots. Memes and viral videos often overshadow official speeches, shaping public perception in unpredictable ways. The presidency is now not only a position of authority, but also a constant part of the viral content cycle. This hyper-visibility, where every misstep or triumph can be immediately scrutinized by millions, has fundamentally shifted the way we see our leaders. 5. Aging in the spotlight. The physical toll of the presidency. One striking difference between past and present presidents is how visibly they age during their terms. Older portraits often idealize their subjects, erasing wrinkles and imperfections. In contrast, modern presidents face high-definition cameras that capture every gray hair and stress line. Studies have shown that the immense pressures of the presidency, constant decision-making, public scrutiny, and the weight of responsibility can accelerate aging. Compare photos of presidents like Barack Obama or George W. Bush at the start and end of their terms, and the difference is startling. Obama, who was in his mid-40s when he first took office, appeared noticeably grayer and more fatigued by the time he left the White House. It's not just physical aging. His demeanor, facial expressions, and overall energy reflected the toll of managing the country through significant crises. Similarly, George W. Bush's presidency aged him in ways that were almost visible in every public appearance. From the calm, collected president during his first term to the weary, more contemplative leader by the time his second term ended, the visible aging was a direct reflection of the immense responsibilities he carried. This physical transformation is a stark reminder of the human cost of leadership, something that older depictions sought to downplay or erase entirely. These presidents, like all those before them, faced relentless challenges that left lasting marks on their physical and mental states. 6. What we've lost and gained. On the one hand, the evolution of presidential imagery has made leaders more accessible and relatable. We can see their humanity, understand their challenges, and connect with them on a personal level. On the other hand, this shift has also diminished some of the mystique and respect that once surrounded the office. The constant scrutiny can reduce presidents to mere personalities, overshadowing their policies and achievements. Have we gone too far? As we demand more transparency and authenticity, are we forgetting that the office of the president is meant to embody the nation's ideals and not just reflect the whims of social media and public opinion? Presidential imagery tells a deeper story than meets the eye. It's a mirror of our values, our expectations, and the evolving nature of leadership. From the carefully curated portraits of Washington to the unfiltered tweets of modern presidents, the journey is about much more than just aesthetics. It's about the relationship between the people and their leaders, and how that relationship is shaped by the visual culture of the time. Want to know more about how our history shapes the present? Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next deep dive.